This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
They are the world's greatest mercenaries. The only life they've ever known is war. The only loyalty they've ever had is to each other.
Drop your guns!
Got the 4 on the left.
Why don't you take the 2 on the right and leave the rest?
You're not that fast anymore.
Oh, here we go.
The only thing faster is...
Light.
Exactly.
We'll see. So, we are working for the agency.
I gotta recon this island first.
The only thing you need to know is the job's real and the money's real. Give this job to my friend here. He loves playing in the jungle, right?
Right. We don't have the manpower, the firepower. We'd be dead in the water.
Ray, they got a small army. What do we got? 4.5 men.
That's so funny. You know, it's not easy being your friend.
We will kill this American disease.
I promised myself I'm gonna die for something that counts.
People live through terrible times, but you must believe you can survive.
Are you crazy? Gonna kill me?
You're welcome.
Every one of us is expendable. Yeah, problem with that.
We mixed. We loaded it. We edited.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
Think about it. The way they were firing at each other, you know, Stallone and Schwarzenegger, the way they was firing at each other, you know, Schwarzenegger was winning this argument.
Every time, yeah, and he didn't even have to try. Just people loved his charisma.
Yeah, he was winning the argument pretty soon.
Bruce was relying on Tarantino and Die Hard to kind of carry him. So, yeah,
it was. Yeah,
he was an ensemble guy.
Yeah, it was him and Bruce Willis that was doing the dialogue right there. Okay, but when he said that he was busy anyway, so get the job to his friend here. He loves playing in the jungle, you know.
I love playing in the jungle. Yeah.
When he did that, okay, we got the Expendables. We don't got Commander 2, Matrix Barrage, and we don't got
yeah. John Matrix Garage.
You know, he would have, you know, it would have been him out there doing the thing, and the movie would have been over after he wiped out everybody.
After the first act, yeah.
But no, he was busy anyway, so he had to go in. So he up and left.
Just like the rundown, he's passing it on to the next generation.
Right, have fun, yeah. Yeah, while Stallone, yeah, he started to do the negotiation with Bruce Willis, and then now we got our movie, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anybody who's an MMA fan, we all know that Randy Couture got the best cauliflower ear in the business.
Yeah, that is. You beat me to the punch on that. That's actually what was interesting about part 4. They brought the gag back. They both tried to make sense of it and kind of halfway were successful. But they mentioned in part 2, kind of too. And I'm like, hey, you know, this should have been a bigger gag than it was.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, everybody had every character had their moment in the sun.
You really have to dig with some of these. You see it mostly in part 3, where when they introduce Banderas, he's climbing a cliff, and Stallone says, "I can do that." Most people, that goes over their head. He's referencing Cliffhanger, but
right.
Mel Gibson also quotes the Banderas film Desperado, where he goes, "How many guys does it take to kill one dude?" And when they introduced Kellen Lutz, who's been in everything, Generation War, the comeback with Lisa Kudrow, and you probably have seen him on FBI Most Wanted, but I'm a fan. I know a lot of people don't like him. I think he's a decent B movie action star, but I found it funny how he's basically Rocky when they introduce him. He loses the fight, but Stallone does the whole "I believe in you. I'll give you a chance." Root for the underdog. I'm like, I see. And a lot of people thought it was stupid. I'm like, hey, I'm expecting nothing but 80s punchlines here. I get it. This isn't Naked Gun, but it is over the top, ridiculous, silly.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed when Jet Li kind of loses in the fight against Dolph Lundgren, because to me,
oh really?
I think that fight would go the complete different opposite way if they fought in real life.
Stallone is a big contrarian on his director's cuts commentary, especially talking about the fourth Rambo. But apparently, he's not a fan of how he shot some of those fights, and I don't know. I think he's just too close to every movie he does to where he should have given it to Vic Armstrong or Antoine Fuqua after a while.
Well, he's not a strong action director. I mean, I guess he knows how to choreograph a boxing scene.
Other than Rambo, and yeah, it seems like he is just imitating John Ford shots. Yeah, it's
the reason that, at least in my opinion, the second Expendables is the best of the films. I actually think it's one of my favorite action movies, is because they got an action director to do it.
Fair enough. Yeah, Simon West from Con Air and the Never Gonna Give You Up music video.
And that's what was needed.
And Tomb Raider.
and I think Stallone's a good director. I think the Rocky movies he directed were fine. I liked
the parts of Tango and Cash
that
he directed. Yeah.
I think he's a fine director, but
it's weird how Barney Russ is a good character in and of himself. Because I mean, kind of like how Dolph is basically playing up his evil war criminal in Universal Soldier movies. I like how Sly's ego is being mocked at times, and he dresses in a beret much like his Demolition Man character Phoenix, and then he's essentially Colonel Trotman in the Rambo film. So much like if you wanted to, you could say this is Rambo recruited by the CIA to assemble the next of kin, the next recruits. I'll give him the bar fight in part 4. That was the only kinetic energy I felt from that whole thing. But again, like all these movies, they wait till their third act or in between stuff to get interesting. It's no, you got to start off interesting. You can't just wait. You can't have 40 minutes go by and I'm looking at my watch.
It's interesting because I really like the fact that they used Harrison Ford in part 3.
It took me a minute, but he's clearly playing up his Han Solo thing. He's treating it like the Death Star run. He says a certain line where "hang on to your 6" or something. I'm like, yeah, I see what they did there. He's coming in moaning.
He hams it up and he's great.
Just have Arnold come back, and he could have said, "Oh, me and Jet Li are a loving relationship. It didn't work out, brother." I don't know why that flew over people's head. Yeah, that's implied that they're in love with each other.
They did such a great job playing up the friendships and the rivalries amongst all the actors. And I think this is something they did extremely well in Expendables 2, was when Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "I'll be back," and Bruce Willis looks at him and says, "What do you mean you'll be back? You're always coming back. This time I'm going to be back." Because they were having so much fun, kind of. It worked not because it was an Easter egg. It worked because it just felt like the actors were just making fun of each other.
They had to. They absolutely had to. That must have been the underwritten rule. Is you will mock each other and we'll all get paid and we'll enjoy it. It's just...
Well, I did like the friendship between Stallone and Statham's characters.
Yeah,
in all those movies.
They tried, and part 4, I think that's the problem. It's just it felt like the first draft. And it could have actually been a fun send-off. This would have been, but Statham didn't look attached either, which is a shame because I do think he is very fun as Lee Christmas. It would have been because he's always making dry puns that are too much, but you laugh anyway because it's over the top and stupid. It's fun.
Well, in 3, Ford is like, "I don't understand you at all."
Yeah, and he's yelling. I love how that's my only issue with part 2 is they don't give Dolph much to do, but at least they're making fun of how he's a smart dude who understands chemical engineering, and Randy Couture, that whole movie is basically saying, "Oh shit," making breakfast and talking about cookies. Like, yeah, I guess that's something wrestlers talk about. I guess, sure.
These guys really had a good rapport with in the movie. It makes you feel like they're probably really great friends outside. Like Sylvester Stallone has got to be a really good friend with what's his name, Jason Statham. I mean, he wrote a movie that Statham was in.
He was following his career for half a decade.
Liam Hemsworth in 2, right?
Yeah, that was amusing. That was, and I mean, it made sense. Lionsgate was.
I really liked him in the movie because him playing that part made it very. I didn't expect him to die.
I'm sorry, in 3, when Harrison Ford sees Jet Li, I kept expecting him to say some sort of short round reference.
I did too.
Calling him short round.
Yeah, make some Indiana Jones reference or something like, it looks like you got an adventurer here who wants to join the team. And yeah, so all these guys could have played, private eyes or spies who get captured. And then, the team has to, they know him personally and they have to rescue him. But yeah, there just wasn't any of that. And I'm just like, come on, we didn't go to these movies.
You know what I saw?
What?
With Harrison Ford, he did play 3 of his characters. He was the president. He was the president, and then he played Han Solo.
Yeah.
And then he played what was the other one? And then another character didn't escape.
I got a bit of Apocalypse Now with how he's briefing everybody and ripping them a new one, kind of, but that might just be me. But definitely a Jack Ryan, Clear and Present Danger kind of thing. Part 1 does a good job with showing the passage of time. They're sneaking into the fictional South American palace and they're setting up the charges to blow while Terry is, and what an undervaluable character. He's got the AA-12, which is basically a machine gun shotgun. And his name is Hell Caesar. And I just loved how he's going around, he and Statham's Christmas character are going about sneakily, shanking some of the guards quietly, stealthy. And it was tactical, just like it promised. I think people like all those characters because, again, you have Snipes' character flat out making fun of himself. He's like, I went to jail for tax evasion. Perfect. No other explanation
flat
needed.
out. Yep.
That's the only
That was a
reason.
funny one.
It doesn't make sense in the sense of the movie, but that's okay because we're basically playing alter egos of ourselves.
One of the best scenes in all the movies is the Chuck Norris cameo. He's got a perfect entrance. And I'm not even a big Chuck Norris fan, but they just set it up so perfectly.
He plays up the Chuck Norris facts, and what's the line he says? It's just so funny. It's just like,
gotta be back in Cobra.
Yeah. I fought the Cobra lost out or some shit. And he blows up a fucking tank just with his machine gun. It's just like, you don't even see how he does it. It's irrelevant. And again, it was well staged.
They're playing on those memes of him.
Yeah, the Chuck Norris facts.
Chuck Norris is so tough. Yeah.
Where he's been since Walker Texas Ranger. And it was just so funny because it didn't matter that it was cheap or that it was done in 2 days. It worked because of the staging and the punchline. And yes, it's dumb when Stallone and Bruce start stealing each other's one-liners, but that's okay. That's the kind of movie this is. This is a G.I. Joe cartoon meets South Park, basically. That's what I put it as. It's just...
Yeah, that's the thing. Chuck Norris was in retirement, and
it takes a lot for him to just find something to do. Yeah. But,
I gotta tell you something though. The first Expendables movie was in a way a perfect movie because they gave you dream matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you want to see fight? We can. We got.
It's an action movie, wet dream. Yeah, it's.
We got Jet Li and Dolph Lundgren in a fight scene together, and then when I first read about the movie, what really got me was that Sylvester Stallone and Stone Cold Steve Austin going to fight each other. that is WrestleMania caliber right there.
He broke his neck while doing that, and it's so funny. The fans were like, "Now you have to have him come back as like his evil twin brother or something," and he's like, "I'm not getting in a fight with that giant again."
That fight with Van Damme, who's the perfect villain.
It is a good fight.
It's an incredible fight at the end. I kind of want to know if it's inspired by Lethal Weapon, because there's really no reason to have this fight at the end. But there's no reason for the.
I was reminded of everything from like GoldenEye to all kinds of other 80s, 90s.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you remember in the first Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson and what's his name, the crazy guy Gary Busey have that fight at the end, and there's no reason for it at all.
It's a bit of that. It's a bit of that and Tango and Cash kind of, let's throw our guns to the side and just duke it out.
That's how this felt. And so from start to finish, I even like the fact that when it's looking like they're going to set up Stallone to get the girl, he doesn't get the girl because it would have been inappropriate. And there was nothing in the movie that would say that.
It would have been dumb.
I would have loved to have seen that girl appear in further movies, because I thought she was really good and she deserved to be in further. Well, she didn't deserve to be in 4.
Yeah.
But it should be nice to have seen her in 3.
Obviously, these movies are always streaming anywhere, mostly uncut on mainstream cable now, which is even funnier because they're not for R-rated movies. You've seen worse, but at the same time, like
I think the first and third are the only two that have extended editions. Actually,
you're right. And then
the first one has a director's cut, which Stallone says he prefers. The third one's an extended edition. I don't know if that's,
but they're not the most violent movies of all time.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes extended edition doesn't mean director's cut, because if you've ever seen the extended edition of Rambo, it doesn't work. And then you watch the Blu-ray of the regular cut of Rambo, and Stallone, there's deleted scenes where Stallone talks about the reason they took him out and how it slowed down this, that, and the other thing, all these legitimate reasons for taking him out. And then you watch the extended edition and they're all in. So you got to be careful when you're watching.
I actually dug the extended cut because like they sped up the movie more and took out all the melodrama with the mercs. What do I know?
We'll return after these messages.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US, we are in the UK, we are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up